No. Hey, we're live here in New York City. On my page this time, not on my actual profile, which I'm going to start doing here. And my, on this page and not my profile. Dagnabbit, that's what we're doing. Julie Michaels, hello. Man Mondays. It's 9, that sounded like Mad Mondays, but it's not that. Hey, Dale. 9:30 Mondays, Eastern Time. This is what we do. During American football season, we will be doing this during halftime. So watch for that. But this week, I am talking about situational football. Hey, guys. I see you made it. Thank you very much. The transitions are tough. That's kind of what this whole thing is about tonight, actually. Change, situations, Cartney, dude. Last week we went over the audible, and I thought I'd explained it, but maybe I didn't. And my daughter was on last week, and she was watching, and I asked her, so how was it? Because I think it's the first one she'd seen live. And she said, great, I don't know what an audible is. I was like, oh, all right. And then my wife didn't, Larry, I'm ignoring you now. I know, I'm in New York, right? And then my wife didn't know what an audible was either. So an audible is what happens when, if you've ever seen an American football game, the quarterback goes up to the line of scrimmage, he's looking around, he's calling the plays, and what happens is, if he looks and he sees the defense lined up in a certain way and he doesn't like it, he'll actually change the play right then. You know, they go in the huddle and he's like, okay, here, you go to the bottle cap and make a right, and you go down to the fire hydrant and turn around and I'll hit you. That's what we used to do when we were kids. But they'll actually have a few plays. Hey, Tim. They'll have a few plays that they already know that they're running. So, hey, Richie. So what happens is they go to the huddle. It's like, okay, so he rattles off all these numbers. This is the play we're going to run. And then they get up there and the quarterback looks and he's like, I don't like the way this is going with the play that we have. So he will do what's called an audible. And he audibly changes the play at the line of scrimmage. Peyton Manning was probably the most famous for this. He is probably one of the best quarterbacks who ever did it. And if you've ever heard him, a game where he was playing quarterback, you would hear Omaha all the time. And that was one of the triggers that he was calling an audible, and he was changing the play that they already called in the huddle. So that's the audible, the definition of audible. Now, what?
How does that relate?
I have my producer on the to the left of me. So I'm not going to redo last week's. You guys can see what I meant by the audible last week. It's basically, it's going to relate to situational football in the way that in situational football, things change every play. Everything changes. It's, if you're fourth, that was David Breyer calling me. Anybody knows David Breyer? Tell him I'm alive and he should be watching me and not calling me. So, situations in a football game. Say it's fourth down and you're on like your 10-yard line. It's 4th and 18 and you're on your 10-yard line. Well, that's one thing if it's the first quarter and it's a 0-0 ball game. It's a completely different situation if it's in the fourth quarter and maybe you're down by 3 points. So now the situation is, okay, do you punt the ball? Normally you would, but in that situation you don't, because the other team is probably going to come by and at least kick another, Marley, hey. ClickFunnels in the house. They're probably going to kick a field goal and then they'll win. And it's situational football is basically really being able to be in the moment and seeing what the situation is that you're in at that moment, with all of the different variables around. Now, with that being said, how you relate that to your relationship is really being able to see everything. And I know with especially with the way that there's so much, we're bombarded by media and the TV and our phones, and we're very distracted. It's the most our species, I think, has ever been distracted, other than perhaps when we were being hunted by everything. But it's with the distraction it's harder to really see everything that's happening, like really being able to see the situation that you're actually in. And that includes with a relationship, that includes knowing what the situation that your spouse is in my case, my wife is in. Did she have a bad day? Is something going on with something that she's doing with work? One of her clients is a shoot. Does she have her attention on a shoot? And if I have a plan, and that plan is like, okay, so what I really want to do is I want to go, and I'm going to take her to dinner and whatever, we're going to do something. And then things change. She gets a call, and suddenly she's really distracted, and she's like upset. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to, okay, well, we're going to dinner just because we said we were going to go to dinner. I want to find out what the deal is, find out what the situation is. Suddenly a variable is different. And even one variable, like in a football game, depending on the where the clock is, depending on the field position, it's going to completely change the play that you call. And so in a relationship, you have to see all the variables. So, Chris Rath, Christopher Rath, I saw some beautiful photos of your wedding. I think you just had an anniversary, so right on, dude. Really being present and not allowing yourself to be distracted to the point that it is affecting your relationship. And that is my tie-in with the situational football. Actually, in any sport, I just said football because, I think that's where you hear it the most, situational football. But Larry Judge in baseball, it's all different. Chris Polito, right on, dude. Baseball, everything changes depending on what inning you're in, depending on what the batters are coming up. Is it left-handed or right-handed? It'll depend. They may just change the pitcher in the middle of the game, even though the other pitcher was having a good game. It just depends on where things, what the situation is, and like I said, every variable is different. In a soccer game, it's constantly changing. The whole flow. It's not like American football or baseball where you can sit. Really, it's more like your relationship, actually. A soccer game is probably more like your relationship because it's fluid. It's always moving. It's always changing. If you have kids, if you have family that live close, if one of you are going through a situation, my mom isn't doing great right now, so it's a thing, and it's something that comes in, and fortunately my wife is very good at situational football. She's good at finding out what's happening, and yes, Carney. Yeah, one of the better managers actually I've ever played with is Carney. And it is seeing that, okay, so you see the flow of the game now. Whatever, for those soccer players that are watching, if for some reason you notice that the right midfielder is not really on his game, maybe he's a little slow today, the whole field will change, and maybe you start to shield away from that side. Maybe let him run and not be the playmaker because it's going to affect the whole team. So another situation. Basketball, it's very similar. Basketball is very, very fluid. It's all it's just motion constantly. But the main point I am writing a book, for those of you who don't know. I'm writing a book on relationships, and that's what these are all about. Every Monday night we're going to do this at 9:30 or during half times when Monday Night Football is on. And the book is called Happily Unsingle. And for those of you who are new, if you could do me a huge favor, if you could go to happily.unsingle.com. I have a 1-question survey there. And I'm going to be doing a master class in May. And I would love your help. And if you could answer that 1 question, I will get you in for free to that master class. And it's going to be great. It's going to be a blast and hopefully very helpful. I go over all sorts of things that has kept my 29-year marriage. It'll be 29 in May. And I may actually start this, honey, producer.
Yes.
I may start this masterclass on my 29th anniversary, so I don't have to take my wife out to dinner.
And you know what? I'm okay with that. We'll save some money.
Perfect.
And help others.
Oh, look at that. Like you're in there. You could be in the, it's asking me if I want to tag you.
My face.
I'm going to tag you. There, she's tagged.
All right, this is your show.
Facebook. It's frightening. We love it though. So situational football. It's a sports and relationship thing. This is what we do. Oh, right on, dude. Right on. Robbie Lamar. Hey, dude. One of the better drummers I've ever played with, right there. Robbie, baby. Yeah. So those of you who joined us recently, this is Michael Duff here on Man Mondays. Every Monday night we do this at 9:30. And it'd be great for you to join and share. Hi, Mindy. Yes, this is mostly for guys. In fact, I didn't put that on the description, but this is like I want to help the guys. We have some work to do. There was a movement not long ago, from what I recall, something about Me Too. So I was like, oh man, we have to do better. So that's why I'm doing this, and that's what pushed me over the edge to write my book, which is it's a blast and it's super fun. Hopefully it'll be very helpful. And so situational football. This is Man Mondays. I think it's going to be a short one tonight because I've had fun. And hi, Jill. Let me know if you guys have any questions or if there's something you want to talk about. Or I think in the next, I think Monday I'm going to tackle how to keep the spice in your relationship, and I'm going to relate it to sports. And I already know how. My producer has no idea, and I love that. So, all right, guys, thanks for, hi, Shelley. Christopher Rath said, hi, Shelley. Was that for you?
Oh, I think that was my character.
Okay, wow. Nice memory, dude. I can barely remember my own name. So, okay, that was a nice tangent there. And we are, I think we're going to head off. Hey, Steve, thanks for joining. Again, guys, if you could go to happily.unsingle.com, I would really appreciate the help. One question survey. I'm going to be doing a masterclass on relationships, and it's for guys. Although I'm sure there's stuff in there that women can learn from, or maybe it's just good for spying. So come spy on. Someone told me when I was younger that guys should read Cosmopolitan, that it's like the enemy's playbook, which I thought was interesting. I always just thought the covers were pretty hot, but that's me. Robbie, it's good, man. Things are good. Well, we live in New York. For those of you who don't know, Denise and I moved to New York about 1.5 years ago, and it's great. It snowed today. How bizarre. April 2nd. And I think it's going to snow again like Thursday or something like that. But okay, thanks for your time, guys. Thanks for coming. Thanks for hanging out. Is it healthy to change? My producer's asking me questions. I need an earpiece. Mm-hmm. Is it healthy to change? I think she wants me to keep talking, which I think is funny. It's very healthy to change. In fact, the whole purpose of us moving to New York, for those of you who may not know why we exited LA, I was actually feeling a little complacent in Los Angeles. And I think it just, I felt a little bit like I was phoning it in. It was super, super comfortable there. And that actually scared me. So scared me in a way that it was never something that I ever felt like I was a settling down kind of guy. And so I asked Denise, I was like, hey, remember how we always thought it would be cool to move to Manhattan? Well, what do you think? So it took her a little while to buy in, which was fine, because it gave me time to work on the house. And then once we decided to sell it, we went all in. I mean, that's what we did. We sold the house. We jumped in, and we're loving it here in New York. It's very different. It's the shakeup that I was hoping for, and it's change, and change is good. You know, it's pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, and change is good. There's a whole thing in my book on this. Change is good in a relationship to a point. You need to be on the same page. You need to be in rhythm. And I had seen a really cool. Hey Tom. Hey James. I had seen Milan. Right on, man. You were on last time. I had seen a really cool video. Somebody sent me. I think Matt Kiley sent me a Will Smith video, and he was talking about him and Jada, and how he had tried for a really long time to make her happy. And that's our purpose, that's our goal, as hopefully both ends of the relationship have that in mind. But what he realized is he can't make her happy. She has to make herself happy. And then they can be happy together in that way. And I thought that was pretty cool. But the idea of you're two individuals going together toward whatever ultimate goal that it is that you have as a team, but you each have individual goals. This seems to be like I'm jumping subjects here from situational football, but we're here, so let's go. My producer gave me the note. I'm going to go with it. You each have individual goals. There's two people in a relationship. Denise and I we've had very different goals for a really long time. Hers was acting, mine was music. Although they're both entertainment, it's not like we were both actors and we both went to acting class together. It's like we actually had different paths we were going. And then, and it's, she went into her photography more, and I went into my entrepreneur stuff more, my marketing and my web stuff. And she still acts a little bit. I still play music a bit. And but we've always had the team goal to work well together and help other people and be happy as a team. So there's different goals. You have your individual goals and then you have the team goals. So keeping those all in mind, you can change. And okay, I will tie this back into situational football. Things change. We moved. Everything changed. We sold the house. That was tough. Our daughter Paris was born in that house. Just so much attachment to it. But it's a house. It's change. We all cried, but we reacted differently to it, and we changed differently as well. Some people are really into personal enhancement. Some people really that aren't that much. But at a certain point, you change, and you need to change together to a certain degree. But you're each on your own individual paths. As long as the team goals are being met, I think that's cool. And but you need to know what the situation is, and if it's not meeting the team goals, then you probably have to look at it. But situation. What's the situation? What's the situation you're in? What's the situation you want to be in? And depending on what the variables are and what's changing around you, then you decide the play that you're going to call. And then you run the play. And sometimes you end up with a 350-pound defensive lineman on your neck. And sometimes you make a touchdown. So there's my rant for this Monday night. Thanks for hanging out, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. And I did. I love doing this. I'm going to have to start doing more stuff during the week because I'm like, I can't wait till Monday night. So again, happily-unsingle.com for those of you who haven't been there. I'd really love the help. And peace. We'll see you next week.